Alright, let's begin the stream. Just give me a moment to anybody who might show up as this is beginning for me to send out links, post on Twitter, you know, put in a couple Discord areas, and then hopefully you get some nice people showing up, chit-chatting with everything going on so far this week. So, okay, let me pull that up. Oh god, I have it going through already. One second. What's up, Corey's AMV? How's it going? You're early to hang out. That's good. So let me just give me a moment to get everything finished and links set out and sent up, and hopefully, as I said, we can get a nice chat going on and talk to everyone who shows up to come hang out. One moment, please. How's everyone else going? That you know, anyone who's shown up already, how's it going with you guys this week? We've had a pretty fun week. Pretty nice stuff, kind of, you know, dropping for series, fandoms. Everyone's having a good time. We got some good animes coming out. Definitely gonna have a good time watching those. I just watched the first episode of Kimetsu no Yaiba. I've been very satisfied with how that anime is coming out. I'm waiting for that to come out because I know the fan base is gonna swell after that happens, and I think a lot of other people have been bringing it up, have been noticing that the fan base has been pretty quiet, but I think with the surge of the anime looking this good, there's gonna be a lot of people that jump to the manga as well, for real. Definitely gonna be a fun time there. One second. Alrighty. So let me just see anybody here yet. Doesn't look like anybody come to chit chat yet, but that's all right. Other than that, I can just kind of talk and hey, what's up, Legend D Vash? Nothing much, just hanging out, seeing anybody who wants to come chat with what's going on in this week's stream. I just finished all the all the Shonen Jump chapters that came out today. Definitely enjoyed them. I don't think there was any bad ones. Definitely some good comedy in there. I had some nice clarifying bits with the Black Clover chapter, which I really liked. I've considered doing reviews on the last Sayuki. I've been reading that as it's been coming out. Been having fun. I think it's what, like chapter 5 or 6 right now, I think. Let me double check. What, 6? Definitely been enjoying that. Oh, dude, nice. Wait, lunch break? I mean, I guess it depends on where you're at. I was like looking at my clock and I'm like, how many at lunch? But that's good. Well, I guess lunch break really only needs to clarify. It's like, it really only needs to set us like the halfway point food break for whatever your job is, even if it's like 2 in the morning or some shit. But hey, what's up, New Dawn Horizon? How's it going? What's up, JK Network? How's it going with you guys this week? Have you been, enjoying the chapters, having fun, going through stuff? I'm definitely looking forward to some of the stuff coming up, like the next Jujutsu Kaisen arc. I think it's picked up a lot. I like any time that Satoru sits down on the battlefield, he just wrecks everyone to come. The Chainsaw Man chapter, actually, I thought was very interesting as well, because I think it put out a lot of stuff for the future with Denji, and potentially what exactly his main character significance will be. Because obviously, anybody who's read it yet knows that the Eternity Devil wanted to specifically eat him. So there's definitely something about him that is going to hold weight for the other devils to see. I'm wondering if the Gun Devil is going to be maybe of the same, or at least similar origins to Denji, and maybe eating Denji will give a much bigger power boost than considering maybe like eating a normal human. Yeah, Black Clover chapter is pretty great. Yeah, I really liked Asta's whole speech with Patri. I thought it was pretty good, where it was much more of like, I'm not gonna just get over the stuff you did right off the bat, but I'm not gonna give up on you, and you shouldn't give up on yourself. I thought that was pretty good, and obviously I think that's part of the things that's going to help. It's going to help Patri, because one of the things that I think helped Asta, is when he got his grimoires, coming back from that point of despair, and that's probably why Patri is kind of going to be this between normal elf and dark elf, is because even though he made it into that status of dark elf, he has come back from it, and it's just probably some kind of weird phenomenon existing in between the two. Hey, what's up, Anime Vortex? How's it going? Oh, yeah, the Black Clover chapter is really good, Vash. I would definitely suggest it. Oh, you're in New York, 7 p.m.? I've been only to New York a few times, but yeah, I guess it's different, because whatever lunch is like just the halfway food break between your, whatever your shift is. Still waiting on more volumes of Radiant. I actually just got Radiant Volume 4 because I just felt like going for a walk the other day at work. Nothing was going on. It was Friday, and like where I work, like a lot of people are out on Fridays. They just kind of work from home, so it was just kind of like nothing happened. So I just went up for like a walk, and there was like a Japanese bookstore I went to, and they actually had Radiant Volume 4. And I was actually looking at some of the stuff because I went there hoping that they'd have the special edition for Fairy Tail Volume 62, because it's that cover with Fairy Heart Powered Zeref and Natsu on it. But the special edition is white instead of the normal color layout. And they didn't have it, but I got 100 Years Quest Volume 1 and the Quartet Knights spin-off from the video game for Black Clover. Just because I doubt the Quartet Knights one is going to come to America. At least I don't think so. I haven't checked. I don't think it has an American release date. But I just decided to get the Fairy Tail one because it doesn't come out until, I think another like 2 or 3 months. I don't think it comes out. So I figured I'd just like get that one since it was there. And then Radiant, just because I like that one. It's got General Torque on it. And I want to read through the English volumes again soon so I could catch up to it. Because I wanted to wait until they started to really pile up to get to it, because I was further ahead in the, looking ahead in the French version, but obviously I couldn't get the context as well. Let's see. Someone made a video about how Black Clover did redeeming pastry better than Naruto. I think that was what for Neverworld. I don't like his videos, but I did see it. I thought it was handled better because it did. The thing with Naruto is it happens too much in Naruto versus something like Black Clover, where this kind of really felt like the only time he's done it, and we're 200 chapters in. And the way Asta handled it was more of like, it was more of him understanding why Patri did everything, and what has pretty much put him in this state now. But he's not willing to, again, just kind of like forgive him for that, but to that he shouldn't give up on himself. And Asta, as his whole goal for being Wizard King is he wants to set up a world where everyone can kind of get along and just kind of like make a safer place for everybody. So obviously he wouldn't give up on the elves with his whole mindset and his whole goal for everything. Asta basically told Patri he's eventually going to put him to rest after this is over. I hope it's more of like Asta is, willing to put things aside for now, but not just forgive it. Maybe, work past it eventually. What's your opinion on the last chapter of One Piece? What was the last one? The last one was what, Zoro meeting the Wano princess. I don't know, I thought it was kind of forced, because I don't think it made a lot of sense of the fact that Zoro got stabbed in the shoulder and just passed out. I thought was kind of dumb. It doesn't make a lot of sense when you know how much damage that guy's taken. I mean, especially when you think of like the whole part with Kuma during what was it, Thriller Bark, when he took all Luffy's pain from that whole fight and then like bled way more than a normal human should be able to, and he kept standing and he just like tanked it all. And now, like, being stabbed in the shoulder was enough strain to make him pass out. Like, why? I mean, it was like a nice reveal with what's her face being the Wano princess, but like, I just don't think it made a lot of sense of Zoro passing out just to lead up to that, because I don't think it made any sense for him to pass out in the first place. What's up, Eric? How's it going? How you doing today? Also saw the spoilers for the next Easy chapter. Yeah, I saw Valkyrie was had a nice little bit, but covered her face up. I am wondering what exactly maybe have caused Hermit to be like this, because she looks pretty optimistic in that chapter spoilers. I did see someone commenting on like Baby Shiki having different colored hair, but obviously it was kind of hard to tell because he only had a few hairs. I'm wondering, because I talked about it a little bit with someone recently, that when something I don't think I paid much attention to, because when Shiki goes in full body ether gear, I was more of looking towards the fact he had those cool, like, ether gear, like, weird, like, what would those even be, like, headgear pieces? I didn't even really pay much attention to the fact his hair changed colors, and I'm wondering if that's going to be maybe something relevant. Like, maybe his hair was originally a different color, and then something happened to make it turn black. I don't know. But it's definitely, it's an interesting thing to think over. Or the last chapter of My Hero Academia, the villain arc. Yeah, it's looking pretty interesting. I'm hoping that Bad Touch actually is built up at some point in this arc. Obviously, it looks like it's going to be more focused on him. So I'm putting I'm putting my trust in Horikoshi in this one. I think he can do it. But I'm definitely holding into the whole not really caring much for Bad Touch at the time, because I just don't really like him as the kind of like arch nemesis for Deku, and the fact that I don't think his power will really lead to anything fun in that matter, because he just kind of has this one-shot power where it's like, how are you going to get a really cool battle and really kind of like foil between them, unless it's always more of like a strategic kind of thing. And I think it's, I don't know, I kind of look at like the end bit of between them of, you know, eventually a battle, and I don't think it can really fit with the way that their kind of like powers are contrast to each other. I definitely think he's going to get, you know, built up better as a character this arc. He's definitely got some already, which is good. That was nice for him. Glad he got that. I did like the whole bit about them pretty much fighting every day for, what's it, like 48 days with only 3-hour breaks every day. I thought that was pretty cool. Natsu, I'm done with the ripping. Oh wait, done with ripping off the scales. Yeah, Natsu was like going savage, and something I know. So I did a long post on a forum about like how a lot of this is kind of like has led up to this spot with Natsu, because I don't think a lot of people have paid a lot of the smaller bits mind, because they're more focusing on what was going on at the larger scale during the Albereth arc. But like all the bits of potentially Lucy being connected to Natsu via living magic, which should explain heavily of why Natsu lived even after Zeref died. As well as exactly why when Lucy was taking damage, she just kind of like stopped in place. And I think that the demon, I think that the Ethereus dragon is a nice aspect to go further down, because E&D already had a lot of hype, and I think this is better than just kind of like general progression of him just becoming a dragon instead of merging between the two, and hopefully being able to cope with that. I think that's going to be a really fun kind of like spot further progressing for Natsu. Let me scroll up, making sure I don't miss any of your guys' comments. What's up, Zach Stevens? How's it going, dude? 1 second, I'll get to your comment in a second. I was making sure, I try not to miss any comments, because, I mean, this is mostly, these streams are mostly just like me talking to you guys en masse, and, you know, just having a nice back and forth. You know, guys can ask me questions or whatever you feel like. Just having a nice community time. And while I scroll back up, really would appreciate it if you would, you know, anybody who's following me on Twitter, if you could retweet my, tweet about the stream, you know, get more people in here to more chat, you know, the more friends the better, and thumbs up the video. I'd really appreciate any extra likes if you're enjoying the stream. Hey, let me see. Yeah, okay. Might be me channeling, this might be me channeling Fairy Tail, but do you think Justice and Lobelia being connected in some way? I don't think so, because we don't really know exactly where Justice is really going to really tie into a lot of things, and I think the fact that Lobelia was on that whole like promo art, that people hold her to a higher degree and of importance. We haven't seen anything yet, but obviously, you know, we're still like what I would kind of consider more of the. I think we're still going to be in that introductory arc until we get the rest of the forced shining stars back in and they leave the cosmos, or at least until they get to Draken Joe, because for Fairy Tail. It all felt really introductory until the Phantom Lord arc, and I'm hoping it's going to be. Oh, it was similar to that with Rave Master until the whole battle with Shuda on top of what was it, the Rhapsody ship? I don't remember. It was Rhapsody something, and I just kind of got that same feeling for Eden Zero. But I do look forward to where exactly they're going and how exactly, you know, all these characters are going to tie in further. Because Jesse definitely feels like a character I don't think people are putting as much suspicious like eyes on him, because he just seems to come off as a little bit too shady. Let's see. God, I messed up my place. Where is it? Okay, I think Valkyrie is gonna have a stoic personality like Urza, battle crazy personality like Marileona. If I had to guess, I think what would make it really fun if something more like Marileona, where she's kind of like the opposite of Homura. Some of this, well, we already have Sister, who's kind of like this very aggressive personality, and Valkyrie, I think she'll maybe be potentially more stoic. There's a whole lot to it where we're going off of name and kind of like just the contrast of the other members of the Four Shining Stars and what we're gonna get out of this last one. I think it would be really interesting for a last one is maybe one that is more just kind of absent-minded and maybe just more focused on like a vision of like a plan, more of like what's going on, of just kind of like standing around, more just like lost in thought. I think that'd be kind of fun, something a character like that where it's just kind of like preparing for everything but never actually being ready. Let me see. Shigaraki's getting more. Yeah, you read that. Getting more character. Yeah, that's pretty good. Definitely appreciating that from Horikoshi. Patriot might be stronger after surpassing Dark Elf now. He's a hybrid of two. I feel like it'd be cooler if instead of being stronger, he's kind of like in between. Because like, if he's stronger, then it's like he's just going to be closing that gap further. I think kind of like a partial in between would be a lot cooler, and to where he still has a little bit of that power grasp, but not to the point where he's just kind of like over buffed at this point, because the Dark Elf was already pretty powerful. If he's more powerful now, I think that's going to be a little bit too much. Well, to be fair, Rax, Seraph had a one-shot ability too, and he's Natsu's already. Yeah, but Natsu had means against it. So really quick, just to rant off really quick. The whole thing that I kind of like am not too keen on with the whole rivalry, I guess not really rivalry, arch nemesis between Deku and Bad Touch, is that the fact that Deku doesn't currently have a means to negate or counter that one-shot ability. Because obviously, you know, the given example of, you know, Seraph has this one-shot death magic, but Natsu can burn it, so as long as he's able to get his fire off, he's able to counteract that ability. Or you look at something like Black Clover, where Asta's anti-magic swords give him a similar stance of being able to really deal with it. With My Hero Academia, though, when you look at something like a fight with Bad Touch or a fight with Overhaul, I knew that Deku wouldn't get touched. He wouldn't fall under that ability because then it'd be over for him. Versus something like Gentle, where I thought that was a much better fight. You had a lot more free range to do stuff. And, you know, you could get Deku get hit by all these different attacks. You could have all this, I think, much better fighting choreography. Same thing with someone like Stain. You just could get a lot more out of it rather than, like, the fact that these characters can just touch them and it's over. And I would definitely like it if something happened where maybe Bad Touch's quirk evolved and maybe had more to it rather than just kind of like decaying. Maybe it's decaying but also creation. Like maybe he has to expend the amount he's decayed into creating something else. That'd be pretty sick. Because the thing I really like about One for All is the fact that All for One, sorry. But for All for One is the fact that he kind of has this, what I kind of view as like this religious villain aspect to him, is because if you don't follow him, he could take away your power and he could give it to somebody else that would. And I think that kind of, even though there's not like a ton to his personality yet, he's obviously got his character. We don't have as much depth to him right now. You know, we only have that first real encounter. But I think that kind of representation of what he is to the villains, I think, holds a lot of weight. And I think you'd need something of similar stature for Bad Touch in order for him to eventually move up into and kind of being the successor of All for One. And I think something like kind of that like needing of cycle of destruction and creation for Bad Touch would be something good in there. I mean, again, that's also just fan theory. You know, it's just kind of like me thinking, you know, a what if. I don't know what Horikoshi's planning, but it's also just my opinion. I wouldn't trust Horikoshi writing if I were you. I don't know New Dawn Horizon. He's the only thing that he's done recently that I've been kind of like really not really enjoying is the whole fact that Deku has so many quirks now, or well, quirks coming. I'm not a huge fan of that idea. Again, it's just my opinion on the whole matter. Let me see. Rikia, the giant nose guy, thinks he stands the chance against Shigaraki. Oh yeah, Reed Destro, isn't that his super name? I usually remember the characters in My Hero Academia by their superhero names. And Bad Touch, Shigaraki, whatever, I always forget. I always call him Shirageki for some reason. But I've always remembered him as Bad Touch. But, I mean, the Reed Destro guy seems way more thought out. What did they say? They have like 100,000 plus people, you know, like under his whole business. I don't know. I'm guessing that maybe his quirk isn't going to be as OP as Bad Touches, but I think he's smarter. He seems way more prepared and way more kind of like set out with an overall, I guess, format of what he's got planned. Whereas Bad Touches just kind of, he doesn't have anything really laid out the same degree, or even relatively close to the same degree. Let's see. Who is the best villain antagonist so far in My Hero Academia? I really like Cremation. I think there's a lot of cool mystery to his character. I like his design a lot. I like the blue flames. I'm you know, there's obviously still a lot of mystery again between what he is in relationship to Endeavor. A lot of people have been putting him towards the idea that he's actually one of Endeavor's kids that maybe, you know, was part of the whole want to eventually have a kid to surpass All Might. I kind of want the whole idea of maybe him being a clone, because they were... the clone thing is like a big thing in superhero storylines, and it would be cool if it was in there, but also at the same time, I think it would add a extra layer to his character being really interesting, as well as why he's got all this like messed up body pieces and stitches. Maybe part of his body was falling apart at one point. And again, just a fan theory. I definitely really like his character. I think he's really cool. I definitely am hoping that he holds a much bigger position in the series, and I want to see him come up as a character more often, because like that whole Endeavor like mini arc, I actually got really excited when he showed up, and unfortunately, you know, it's kind of like dicked out where you only got to see him for like a couple seconds encountering Endeavor, and it was a shame that we didn't get any like anything that big out of that whole encounter. At least something, maybe like a name drop of like, hey, do you remember this character? And maybe it was like actually his mom or something that Endeavor knew at some point. Maybe Endeavor was at some point going to switch being a villain because he wanted to beat All Might so much, and he ended up hooking up with the villain that made Cremation. I don't know. There's a lot of things you know that could come out of that, but as he is now, as I said, I think he's my favorite villain in the series. My favorite character, though, I think might be Knuckle Duster, and he's from the Vigilante Side series. I don't think people give him enough credit. Like, that dude is fucking cool as hell. Oh, God, I lost my cursor. Where's my cursor at? Let's see. All for One and Stain. Yeah, All for One is pretty cool. I think I like Stain more because we know more about his character. I like the whole bit where he was originally just about punishing villains, and he was about taking out villains, and then his whole encounter with Knuckle Duster, and how that's what switched him to be more about like heroes that he didn't see were true heroes and wanted to kill them instead. I thought that was really interesting. And then like that whole evolution of him being, what was that, his previous name, Stagnum or whatever, to Stain, and just like going from this like weird, kind of just like weird design to like this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like 90s decked out with weapons like killer as a super villain. I thought that was pretty sick. I definitely like that transition for him. I always know I bring up the character, but Sinbad, Seven Jins versus Natsu, Dragon form. Well, the thing is, so I don't know how strong in comparison, because again, I didn't finish Magi. How powerful was he before? Because I know there was like, I've seen a couple stuff, because I read the first like whole season's worth of the Sinbad spinoff, and I know like he's done some pretty powerful stuff. Like he shot that big lightning beam that like destroyed some mountains, and he's got some impressive feats and abilities. But I don't know where he stands overall between like that and like where he becomes God, where it's like, well, then he's completely out of his league, where if he's apparently like this cosmic being. You think that Devil and Black Clover is stronger to us? Oh, for sure. That dude's absurdly overpowered in comparison. Like, if he can just say heal and his wounds heal, and like he can cancel out people's powers by saying words, like as long as he knows a word to counteract someone's power, then he's good. Like that vacuum wall against air would also beat like fire and stuff. Like you just could say stop maybe to Julius's spells, and they'll just halt in place. There's a lot to how broken this guy could be. Let's see. Do you think that we'll see what the Devil can do now that he has our Grimoire? I'm thinking that I think maybe he'll get like a first chance, and then maybe like leave, and then we won't see him for a while. Maybe he's scheming off, because we don't know what his goal is. And I feel like him doing anything after getting his true power and body back is going to be like, he's too much now. Like, how much is he going to be when he gets that body back? My whole guess of what's going to happen is maybe he does get it back, but in that whole moment of taking the body, that he gets hurt to where he has to recuperate, where he's pretty much fine, but he has to kind of be off doing his own thing for a while coming back. And so that's why we won't see the guy for a while. Because he's going to be super OP. Like, we already see him how OP he is now. Like, Jesus. Maybe he'll get a future quirk to protect his body. I don't know. I'm just hoping that that'll kind of come in with like the whole fact that Deku's gonna have 7 quirks. Is I worry that like they're gonna come in very convenient to whatever villain he's fighting and what situation he's in, and that's not what I'm looking forward to. I talked about it a few times. I like the idea because Horikoshi has paired him up now with 2 other characters that have like inventors about making tech that enhances your quirks. Like there's the one chick, I don't remember what class she's in, and then there's the chick from the movie. But instead of like doing that, or getting Deku some extra gear, fighting gear, or teaching him a martial art, he just gives him 7 more powers. And I think that was again, I don't know what he's planning, or maybe it works out in Horikoshi's grand scheme. I'm just commenting on like what I see now, and it's just all very much what's happening currently in the story and my take on it. Again, it might in the future, maybe like 100 chapters from now, it'll all kind of work out, and I'll say, okay, yeah, that's fine. It's just. I never said there's no way it could work. It's just, it just worries me at the moment, what I could see coming from it, as I'm not really a fan of it. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. What's your thoughts on One Punch Man Season 2? I mean, I haven't watched it yet. I don't think it's out, but all I can really say just from the trailer is it doesn't even look remotely close to the anime or the manga, and it doesn't even look close to as good as last season. But I don't know, maybe they'll sacrifice the detail to some of the characters for better fighting animation. I don't know. I'll watch it. I'll probably watch it whenever the season's done, because a lot of anime I like to watch like in bulk. And I don't know. I'm a little bit shaken over the trailer in comparison to like the last season of One Punch Man versus this one. It just doesn't look as crisp. Since back in Yami's homeland they use Ki, you think they have other abilities that put them on par with other kingdoms. I'm guessing because Ki and the fact that they have katanas and stuff, I'm guessing they're going to be more samurai based, and maybe we'll see how, because like, obviously I'm fumbling over my words a little bit, but because Tabata said that he can go as long as Naruto if the magazine will let him. So I'm wondering, and magic clearly isn't much of a thing, maybe at least in that same style. In the land where Yami is from, maybe instead instead of grimoires, they have them in swords or something. And so maybe we'll see, contrast of different regions. Like, okay, here's spellcasters, here's samurai, here's shamans, here's archers or something. Maybe we'll get different styles no matter where you go. And same thing with like different, different monsters, different abilities. There's definitely a lot of promise, and if they ever get to the land of the rising sun. I think it's just the land of the sun, actually. So I am definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully it doesn't end up like 7 Deadly Sins, where they introduced Nanashi, and there's nothing became of his character ever, even though he's also from the land of the sun. He's just pretty much from Japan, but nothing has come from it ever. Unrelated, do you think Ruby will get a transformation of some kind? Ruby? Do you mean from the show Ruby, or do you think a different series? Yeah, Redestro, I think his name. Yeah, I was glad he actually got a name finally, because I didn't really know what to call him. Just thoughts on how well Patri has been done as antagonist in the first saga. I liked it. I liked Patri. I thought he was done pretty well, and I think there's always the bad guys that kind of get switched over and become good guys. I think that Patri kind of switching over will help a lot in the kind of the unification between the humans and the elves, because a lot of what that's happening right now, it's gonna need to have the humans and the elves kind of like join on the same side to fight these demons, assuming that we're gonna see more than them as it's going, because we know that there's more, we just don't know how many, and we don't know how many are in the Shadow Palace, or I guess the Shadow Palace is connecting to their realm, but like how many are in that other realm, and how many of them are currently out somewhere in the Black Clover world. Yeah, I don't like calling him Dabi. I like calling him Cremation, because Dabi's just such a lame sounding name. Horikoshi's trolling Shueisha, you think? People are saying Destro is like the Joker and Lex Luthor. I mean, I think it's more like, I think he's putting it more towards like maybe I've seen people compare it to like the Penguin. I mean, Lex Luthor. I mean, Lex Luthor I can kind of see, but Lex Luthor I don't think would have that same kind of mindset. I mean, he's more of like Lex Luthor's more about like people over powers and stuff. I mean, I'm not, you know, I take that last bit back because I'm not gonna act like I got Lex Luthor's whole character on lockdown. I'm not going to be able to determine everything about him. I know he's a really complex guy, but I mean, I could see the similarities between the two. I think that's pretty cool. I like the Joker and I like Lex Luthor, so I think that, you know, be good promise for how he's going to be laid out in the future. And I got to get caught up with all these. Rax, what's your opinion on Toei involved in the Vic situation? I don't think they're handling it very well. I mean, they need to just get their boot down, and they can't let them just keep dragging this out because it's just hurting like everything for everything related to their brands. I mean, it's getting really ridiculous, and hopefully Japan will deal with them at some point, or at least just say, hey, fucking stop! What are you guys doing? You guys are hurting our brand. They're making money off of. I mean, like, Funimation and Crunchyroll are making money off of stuff that they're in no way like involved in creating. I mean, these guys over at Toei are the ones that control everything. They can just pull it if they're not gonna, you know, do a good enough job to, you know, keep the good name of these brands that they're representing with all these dipshit voice actors. You think something is messed up is gonna happen at the end of Digitalis arc, since we haven't seen really anything sadistic like that. Well, I don't know. All this stuff with freaking Jamilov, like cutting people up, screwing them on top of buildings, and kicking them over, and them just breaking apart, is pretty sadistic. We'll probably get something pretty messed up with Homura's backstory. I'm guessing something probably pretty dark. I mean, I didn't expect to be like absurdly like berserk dark. I mean, it was probably going to be a little more violent. I mean, we still have a little bit left. Probably get a couple more dark bits as the arc continues. How powerful do you think Ballpark Seth is? I remember like the big stuff in Radiant was like, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, because I remember the wizardy looking dude that's like one of the higher ups below General Torque. He like turned that giant spirit form in his hands, just like eclipsed buildings. I mean, he's still pretty tough. I don't remember, because the issue is I don't know what extra abilities Seth gets further down the line, because I've only like been able to like make out certain sentences because I read the French ones. So I know he gets like that power-up form. He learns to use it, but I don't know what it really gives him and like what extra powers he gets when he goes about that. How would you compare Black Clover's female cast to Shonen's female cast like Naruto, Bleach? I mean, that's not even close. Black Clover actually like gives the female characters like credit, and they actually get to do stuff. Naruto chicks very rarely do stuff. One Piece chicks do nothing. Bleach has a couple girls that, you know, get a lot of cred. You know, you got Yoruichi, you got Unohana, you had a lot of you had, like, Nell and Holabelle, a bunch of the Stern Ridders. You had a bunch of cool chicks in Bleach. And I do like that Orihime is, like, the fact that her personality made it so her offensive capability was pretty much non-existent, but she became an amazing support and healer because she's just like, I'm not going to be able to do anything offensively, so I'm just going to, like, repurpose my offense into more support. And I thought that was pretty good for her character. I thought that was actually really good for her as it went. Hold on, let me see what else is let me see. Oh, someone just messaged me as I'm going. I'm trying really hard to multitask as oh yeah, well, my friend's going to see Shazam today. That's good. Has anyone else seen Shazam? I really liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I actually really like Shazam. I kind of want to watch it again. Oh, Ruby from Ruby. I don't think she'll get a power-up, because I don't think it's power-ups really. Are there any real power-ups already existent in the world? I mean, there's kind of like boosts, but nothing like a power-up form, unless you count like the maiden stuff. But I don't know if she eventually gets it. Honestly, after all this stuff with Rooster Teeth, I've been really kind of like turned away with Ruby. I'm a little bit. I'm not gonna say that I'm dropping it, but I'm really salty with them. I've actually been not too keen on some of the stuff in the last arc, because I worried that they're gonna play more towards the annoying shippers that keep being super loud. Like, I saw a thread of like this is why Rooster Teeth needs to make Winter into a lesbian. And I'm like, why? Why does it matter? Who the fuck cares? As long as what makes sense makes sense. Like, I see all these people like trying to like aggressively ship Yang and Blake, and I'm like, just because two characters are friends doesn't mean that they have to be sexually involved in each other. That's stupid. Shippers ruin too many things, and definitely Ruby is one of those things that are hurting. Hopefully, I really just want to like make a block where anything that's like shipping involved, like I don't mind shipping if it makes sense. Like, okay, ship Gray and Juvia. All right, yeah, that's a ship that makes sense. Like it's actually exists in the series. Early Fairy Tail, some of the bits you could probably ship Natsu and Urza. Obviously, that's not the case anymore, but you could at the time. But you're not just going to be like, well, I once saw Jalal look at Kana, so ship right there. I'm like, why? No, stop. And obviously, it gets more into weirder territories just so people can have stuff to fap to. Dislike it. I'm just saying a word can counteract to get something that OP. Yeah, the demon's power is really strong. Do you think that Ariadne will get translated? I hope so. Well, I think it's getting a Western release. I remember seeing something about it. I think it's getting a Western release, but I think it's released from Shonen Sunday, and because I saw a bunch of stuff coming out from Shonen Magazine and a bunch of stuff related to Kodansha, I believe. So I hope so. Like I actually really like it. I like the characters. It's got some pretty nice world building from pretty early on. Definitely something I'd be willing to buy. I mean, I'm not like hard on ship or hard on board with that one, but I'm definitely enjoying it from what was being put out by it. Melissa and Hatsume, I don't remember who those two are. Do you think will there be more planet-sized monsters like the chronophage? I don't know. I like the chronophage as this kind of like this singular big cosmic monster. I don't think we need a ton of extra stuff. First episode of Kimetsu no Yaiba's anime was clean. Like I said, I'm glad to see that the fan base is going to be growing from this point. I think a lot of people are going to jump on board with it. Do you even know what the devil wants? Yeah, we don't know exactly what his whole goal is. I'm wondering if it's a singular goal or it's more towards maybe like a group goal between the demons. I hope Annie become very relevant soon. Oh, and Attack on Titan. I mean, yeah, she's just been sitting in that crystal for years, just hanging out and doing nothing, asleep. Will Funimation remove Vic from the One Piece? Yeah, I thought that was stupid. Again. I think they're putting themselves in a bad spot, and they're only continuing to do that. Oh wait, what's up, Multi Hussein 2000? I don't know if I've seen you in my streams before. How's it going? Are you new? And the correct, yeah, I saw that. It was pretty goofy. You think you should have seen more of the Spriggans past, like Invil and Demaria, and how they joined the branch? Oh, there's a chance we'll see more of that soon because some of them, like half of them are still alive. I mean, they don't all need a backstory. I mean, and I expect all of them to. I think most of them did, now that I think about it. But I would like to see more of Invil, because I liked Invil. I don't really expect to see anything from Nineheart. I still have my hopes that Wall somehow comes back for my whole fan theory that because Jenny was in Harjion, and she's a machine style takeover, that she'll take over. You know, you just imagine her coming across his body and think, oh, this would be pretty good to, to add to my powers. And then at some point she puts it on. You have Wall go from her body, upload himself into another machine, and then build himself a new body, and then go back out. I need that to happen. It makes sense. I mean, I don't know if I doubt it'll happen, but it's definitely existent and needed. Irene X Actologia. I mean, that was always a nice ship. That wasn't like, it wasn't one that was like, I think a lot of people made a lot of sense about, but it was one that wasn't like toxic in any way. Why doesn't anyone ask about the black form Asta gets? Well, I don't know why they would. They just see like a power-up form. I mean, it's not even like I would say it's more of like, they probably just think it's something that comes with his form, or is anti-magic. Because there hasn't been any moments where it's been questionable. It just seems like a buffed form. I mean, because when you look at a lot of other characters have like buff forms, I mean, look at someone like Luck. I mean, they probably just put it in that same kind of stance. I mean, if there was something like evil about it, like if they had like a moment where the demon in Asta's grimoire took over, then I think it'd be like more of like a, why aren't they questioning this, versus where it's like, here it's just like, it just seems like a power-up. It just seems like a boost that, a lot of other characters have. Nobody gives a crap about Asta, apparently. I don't know about that. I've yet to see Shazam. Yeah, Shazam looks good. Do you think let's see, Theresa again in Black Clover? I don't know. Maybe. Hey, what's up, Spider? How's it going? Good thing Isayama is ship killer. I mean, they still have the Historia and Aaron ship. That's still potentially up and live. And I don't know. There's gonna be some that might survive through. Definitely not all of them. It just keeps murdering everyone that he just seems falls out of relevancy, which is good. What's the manga in the picture? That is Zatch Bell. That's the empowered Bowser Kerga. Zakaruga? I have it memorized from the dub names of the spells, which are like, it's slightly different. Like instead of Zakaru, it's like Zakar. But definitely, if you haven't read Zatch Bell, definitely read Zatch Bell. How strong do you think Mars and Ladros will be the next time we see him? I'm expecting a lot of characters to be closer to captain level. At least not like spot on, but relatively close. Like maybe between vice captain and captain. Because the thing about the captains is they're strong, but obviously we saw they still have room to grow. They still have new spells to gain. There's still a lot of progress for them to keep going as the story continues. And we see that there's a lot more out there that are more powerful than them. And we see that not just elves, there's also dwarves. We might get more creatures. And the elves, again, might exist in the Clover Kingdom. You know, obviously them having, you know, nature, you know, being related to clovers. That's why maybe why their spellbook had the clover on it. And then that's how the humans end up getting their own Clover Grimoires. Whereas maybe the reason that the Diamond Kingdom has diamonds as their grimoire kind of related symbolism is maybe they're this kind of related to the dwarves, where maybe the hearts will have their own thing. Maybe they'll be like vampires or something, and the spades will have their own thing. There's a lot of theories that have been coming out over this last arc, and I think there's a lot of stuff that Tabata has really set up that can easily lead into like another. It could easily lead into like, oh, how are the villains if they go to the Diamond Kingdom? How can they compete with you know, Asta and crew after all this? Well, we already know they have very dangerous experimental enhancements onto people. Maybe they found artifacts relating to the dwarves. There's a lot that could come out of it, and we don't even know if the dwarves are extinct. Maybe instead of like all the digging that they've done, they actually eventually find like the dwarven city where they've been at. Because obviously with the elves it's different because they were massacred. Maybe the dwarves just kind of retreated into, you know, the underground, so they don't run into that problem that the elves eventually ran into. Do I think Laxus is gay? No. Why would Laxus be gay? What do you think about Liberation Army making a symbol out of Giran's fingers? I thought that was pretty cool. I like that whole message being sent. Just, you know, putting it out there for him, trying to get the villains to really know that he's coming for them. And this was like his sign of being serious. Oh, yeah. Always enjoy new people. Multi Hussein 2000, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hopefully, I can get you to, you know, join the weekly streams, subscribe to the channel, and thumbs up the stream. See if there's anybody else that you know that might want to come and chat. These streams are mostly just, you know, put up. We got a couple topics. You know, you guys can ask questions and I'll answer them. It's mostly like I said, a communal conversation. You know, you guys want to ask me anything, or you just want to hear my opinion of, you know, what's going on, or if you guys want to talk to each other inside of the live stream chat. How would you compare Black Clover Women to Fairy Tail Women? Both pretty good. That's one of the things I always really liked about Hiro Mishima, is a lot of his female characters are pretty good. And it's not like I'm like, we need female characters to be good for equality. I think it's more of like, I don't like it when characters kind of exist just to be there and stand in the back. I mean, look at someone like Finral. Finral is 100% a support character, and he completely is just like, I want to be the best support, you know, so I can bring the Black Bulls up to #1. And, you know, he thinks it, you know, he sees himself, that's how he's going to do it. That's where he's going to find his value and everything. And I think that was really cool. You can have a character be all support, all offense, be a varieties, or be a mixed one. It's the fact that I don't really like the fact when you look at something like Naruto or One Piece or a decent amount of Bleach, when you have characters who it's just like, I mean, I guess Naruto and One Piece especially, you see a female character and it's like, wow, that's a cool power and cool design. Too bad they're probably not going to do anything because, you know, this is this series and usually the chicks in there don't really do much. I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, I definitely like that Black Clover is kind of like breaking away from that. I mean, that's kind of where it is with My Hero Academia as well. A lot of their female characters don't really do a lot. I mean, it's just like, you know, whoever they care about the most, whatever characters they find the most interesting and think work best in the arc. Obviously, that's the most important thing. But it is a shame when you have a character with a cool design and, you know, cool powers, and, you know, you like them, but they don't do anything. Like, and you have someone like, for Naruto, I don't remember, Mei Terumi, I think was her name. You know, the chick who could spit lava, and I think she's the Mizukage. She had a really cool introduction, and then she didn't really do anything the rest of the Naruto, and it's like, why? I mean, she has a cool design, she has really cool powers, she had a cool debut moment. I remember, what was she like? She melted part of Sasuke's Susanoo skeleton. I mean, that was pretty badass. I mean, she had a lot of cool bits to her, and yet Kishimoto didn't really do a whole lot with her. Beastars anime is coming to Netflix. I'll probably check it out. I don't know, what is that about? I just kind of like look at it and I see like very like anthropomorphic characters, and I'm just like, I don't know if this will be for me. That's not really what I'm for. What if Yuno is a hybrid like Charmy? I think that'd be pretty cool. I like the whole aspect that. So I like the theory that Yuno is he's a reincarnation of Lick's son, but he never was dormant. So even though he is in fact that dude's son, that he kind of enjoys humans because he grew up with them. Kind of like where you have Shiki, where Shiki sees everything, like, doesn't matter if they're robots or aliens or humans. He just sees them, you know, they're pals. It's like, okay, yeah, these are my buddies. Why would I not like them? And that's where you can get, like, the other, even if he's an elf, like, you know, it'd be like, I don't see a problem with these guys. They're good to me. I mean, they're better than me than you guys have been. Like, for real. Wind sword magic, I don't know. I kind of like him more as an archer, because we've seen a lot more. The thing about him is he's more ranged. I'd like more ranged spells from him. I kind of want that. I've been thinking about that too with Gray from Fairy Tail. I would like it more if he was more ranged, because you have Urza, who's, you know, Urza's close combat, Natsu's close combat, Wendy's like close combat and support. Lucy's more of like a variety user. Gray, I think, would definitely come the best out of being ranged, especially the fact he's got the true ice. Could you mention the true ice arrows? That, you know, because he copied the ice from Invul, just like if he just made those true ice arrows and just shot people from like a mile away, that's gonna completely fuck them up, because it doesn't matter like your resistance or durability with those. They just void that through with like that raw freezing essence. I definitely think that that's where his biggest potential could be. Plus, like with the danger that Natsu is, you know, has E&D issues again. I mean, that'd be the best way for him to deal with them, is ranged. You know, you got this guy that you're effective against, but he's very dangerous, and he's entirely close ranged. Obviously, you want to fight him from afar. What do you think's gonna happen to the former purple orc guy in the chain? I don't know, because I was very surprised that Rebchi became relevant. I didn't expect him to become relevant again. I mean, Goldrake getting out, I was like, okay, yeah, something happens. He's still pretty powerful, but I'm just like, Rebchi, what the fuck is Rebchi gonna do? I did like the moment where maybe, like, they talked about, like, maybe there was treasures in the Shadow Palace, like, very powerful artifacts and magic tools. Like, maybe they get a bunch of those, and then, like, in between the arc, they will become, like, their own group, you know, their own faction. There's definitely a lot of questionable bits between what they're going to hold. I don't really know exactly, because it was such out of left field that Rebchi just came back. When he has no mana, so how could he create something? I think that was them. Wait. Which one, Multi-Hussein? He has no mana, so how would he create something? I think if that... I would have thought so. Oh, no, it's the fact that Asta... It's not like he doesn't have a power. Obviously, it's not magic. It's anti-magic. But, you know, you would see that and just think, oh, it's just like his version of, you know, a buff spell. Because it's like, otherwise, if you saw that, you'd probably think of it just like... Kind of like, again, like how Luck puts on his lightning gear. I mean, it's not like... There's nothing suspicious about it. It's just, like, threatening looking. There's nothing about it that it's like, we need to look into that. If something happened where, like, Asta, you know, lost control, and it, like, came off as more sinister, then it's probably much more of, like, a moment where you'd be like, we should probably question, you know, what's going on with that guy. There's literally the only one that has a possible chance. Yeah, Historia, hopefully they don't find her. She just kind of stays off over, safely away from everybody else. Definitely. I remember Zatchbell by name. Yeah, Zatchbell is awesome. If you wait, Black Asta was definitely foreshadowed ever since he got his powers. Yeah, I like his form. Yeah, Zatchbell is awesome. Definitely check it out. The manga's a lot better than the anime. I definitely enjoy the both series, but the manga's a lot better. And the anime doesn't do the whole last arc. And then they change a couple bits in the whole arc with Faudo and Zeno. I definitely recommend it. It's a much more pure like fun action battle series, and I like Zatch and Kyo and their synergy. I thought that was probably one of the better portions of the arc. Oh, do the Diamond Kingdom have 4-leaf grimoire? I mean, legendary. Yeah, I've speculated that. I talked about that in the last stream of if they have something equivalent to the 4-leaf clover for their diamond one. I don't know, maybe it'll be like more like a, you know, instead of like the 4-sided diamond, it'll be more like the diamond shape a lot of people think of, where it's more like what is it? More like a pentagon, something more like that. 5-sided instead of that 4, kind of like double triangle look. Just read the My Hero Academia Chapter X. Gotta read Black Clover 200. Yeah, it was a nice cover. Gonna read Clover 200. Yeah, again, I've got faith in Horikoshi in this arc. I didn't like the last arc very much, but this one seems to be shaping up, and I like the idea of, you know, pretty much a villain versus anti-hero arc. I think that'll be pretty fun. Oh, you're from Sweden, Ulti was saying. Oh, that's cool. I actually know a lot of the people I converse with usually are from like other countries, like Finland and Australia, France, freaking Belgium. So I'm used to like talking to people and then them revealing it's like some weird ass time for them. What are you doing up so late at that? I guess early in the morning. In the manga, he one-shot Ladros in like 1 minute, but they made it longer. Yeah. I think that was good to do it in the anime because I think it helped build a lot more people to coming to it. Because there are some parts people like joke on about the animation, but I think the fight was pretty awesome. I think a lot of it looked weird because they were moving so fast. Because it was like when they were moving really fast, it was like this weird kind of like coloring and design for the trees and like the ground. But as soon as they stopped, like it came back. Like it felt more just like. Kind of like if you're moving so quickly, you're not seeing stuff as clearly. And I thought that was pretty neat. I definitely liked it. There's also a lot of good GIF material that came out of that. A shonen needs to stop waiting for the strongest and work together and gain the spotlight. Wait, a shonen needs to stop waiting for the strongest. What do you mean by that, Jared Punch? If Aknologi was in One Piece, how big do you think his bounty would be? I mean, bigger than everybody else. I mean, he would destroy everybody in One Piece. That's not a fight. I don't think there would really be a bounty. It'd just be like a... How do we bargain with this guy not to kill us all? I mean, I guess well, no, he'd probably kill Kaido and then just go into like ruining the world. Do you see Eden Zero spoiler pics? Yeah, I saw a few of them. There's only like 4 when I looked. The chapter should be out probably Tuesday, early Tuesday, I'm guessing. The Mizukagu is awesome, but yeah, I wish Kishimoto did more there. Yeah, she's a really cool character. Hermit is a loli. FBI open up. Hey, as long as she's of legal age. I mean, a lot of Asian chicks are lolis in comparison. A lot of them are like 5 foot. Beastars is a coming of the age story while dealing with racism. Oh, that makes sense. Has the same eyes as Lix. Yeah, that's one of the things that I noticed that makes me kind of think about the possibility of him being the elf and that just kind of grew up as a human. The fact that he has those elf eyes. That was a 199 200 letters. Oh, gotcha. His amber eyes, yeah. Those colors. Well, yeah, they might have been... Lick might have gold eyes, and might have amber, but maybe, you got to keep in mind maybe the mixture of, his mom in there. My dragon roar can create a mini sun pulse and, like, grab... What the fuck? What does that have to do with anything? Finding done with work? What's up, Kram? How's it going, dude? So say Asta was in Fairy Tail, dealt with Laxus during the Battle of Fairy Tail, just like with Patri. Would he not forgive Laxus, but tell him not to give up on his friends? Well, Laxus wasn't giving up on his friends. Laxus was trying to really make for himself, because it wasn't like he was just like, I don't want to be friends with anybody. It was the fact that he's always been living in that kind of like spot in his grandfather's shadow. Like, people didn't say, Laxus, you did a really good job. That was really impressive. It was pretty much just as expected of the son of, or the grandson of Makarov, and that obviously kind of like hurt him a lot, and then he kind of had that power complex, and then he just kept getting pissed off by how like people would joke on Fairy Tail and how they'd get kind of like memed a lot because they do a lot of goofy stuff. And it's not really the same situation between that and Patri, where Patri was like kind of like doing stuff for the sake of his race, and then kind of got screwed over, and then he was just like, I'm done. Natsu, because Fairy Tail's better. I do like me some Fairy Tail. The 8-sided diamond. Yeah, something, I think whatever the Diamond King's equivalent has to be something pretty buffed up. What other unique things would you see Grey do with transformation magic? I think potentially she might be able to turn other people, like maybe give other people disguises. I think that'd be pretty sick. Probably help with maybe like whenever they go into the Diamond Kingdom, help them infiltrate. If you were God, would you want to be friends with Asta, Deku, or Natsu? I mean, so I like Natsu's my favorite out of those three, but I feel like the best one to be friends out of with is Asta, because Asta just seems like a nice guy. I think Deku would annoy me a little bit too much. I mean, Deku's not a bad guy, but I think like, God damn it, Deku, stop being so down on yourself all the time. You're all right. You're fine. Quit shitting on yourself, dude. And then Natsu, I think, the second you upset Natsu, or not even really upset him, he's gonna try and fight you at some point for fun. And I don't have any power, so what am I gonna do? What's your thoughts on Fairy Tail first movie? I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was pretty fun. I wish they made it so it was canon. There was a couple bits in there that kind of like contradicted stuff, so it couldn't really be canon. But I think it would have been more enjoyable if it was. Because like Dragon Cry, I thought was more enjoyable overall as a movie. And I think part of the reason that it was more enjoyable is that it fits into the story, and it just kind of like has that intersection point between the Avatar arc and the Albreth arc that really made it a lot more enjoyable. Laxus is such a great character. Yeah, I really like Laxus. He's come a long way. Where was I? Yeah, I like the first movie. You didn't like the second movie, Grandmaster Luke Jedi? I thought it was really good. I really liked Dragon Cry. Ladder's fight looked like they teleported to Minecraft. Oh, I think they did a lot of the weird art on the purpose because they were moving at such high speeds, like I talked about. I think it was supposed to kind of like convey that. The art suffered at some points, but the animation was fluid as hell. Yeah, again, I think a lot of it was on purpose. They sacrificed the art too much at points. Yeah, but it was so nice to look at that fight scene. And the music was great too. Plus, their characters should have a chance to make a difference in a story without the wait for Goku. I mean, that's the whole thing with Dragon Ball that I don't really like. Then it kind of makes me paranoid about My Hero Academia if Deku gets so many powers, and it's not even going to be like. Because you always assume that the main character becomes the most powerful, especially amongst his crew in the arc that they're currently in. But with something like Deku having 7, I feel like it's going to end up like Dragon Ball, where it's like, and the only time that the other characters are maybe getting in a fight is because the main character isn't around, and then they'll show up and then beat everybody. I was a little paranoid about that. I don't want that to happen in My Hero Academia, because Dragon Ball. It's like outside of whenever Goku has his big fight in the arc, it's like, why am I even watching the rest of this? Like the other characters, it doesn't even matter because even if they lose, these other guys are going to come in and one-shot them. And that's like, I guess you get also, another series that could kind of compare that to is Digimon Frontier when, oh my god, the main character, what was his name? It wasn't, because I don't remember the main character, because I remember Season 3 was my favorite, Digimon Tamers with Takato. Oh, Takuya was the 4th one. And I didn't really like that one because him and the other dude kind of became too strong, and then the other characters just kind of sat around during any of the fights, and it was just like, no, what are they doing? But meanwhile, when you have something like what could come of My Hero Academia, I really don't want that to happen. I'd rather all the characters just be relevant and, keep on keeping the rest of the story. It seems like they spend all the money in Black Clover openings. Yeah, that's just Period. I don't know why they do that. You think Fuegoin will get a spirit dive? Like, I in fact do. I think it'd be smart for him to ask him about that. Laxus was just a massive dick. I still can't believe that he changed. Yeah, I really like Laxus. 100 Years Quest is amazing. Can't wait for it to get animated. Sure it will. If it gets animated, I want it to be seasonal anime where we get like one arc of, we get like 1 year you get the whole arc with Mercphobia and all that, and then the next year you get whatever the next dragon is, because I'd rather it to be seasonal than suffer through the animation that we're getting right now. I mean, it looks like there's some good animation bits coming, but like there's so many parts that didn't look good that I'm very sad about. I don't know. There's definite hopes. I'm definitely wanting them to come forth. Let me see. People sleep on Mashima's character development, but Laxus Gadget are almost completely different characters. Yeah, he's got a lot of them. If you haven't seen Jason Kiefer, my Natsu video, I did a long video on Natsu's character development and a lot about where he's kind of come as a person. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to the writing that Hiro Mishima's done. I think they just kind of like skip over it, and a lot of it ends up just bashing on Fairy Tail, which is stupid. I'm going to do a video on Zeref soon. I've been thinking over a lot about like Zeref parts, and soon I'm going to formulate the video and get it out there of just how underappreciated I think Zareth is as a villain, as an antagonist, really, not really a villain. And I do think that he should be set up to a much higher position. Because I guess someone asked me earlier of like probably my 4 favorite villains in anime, or I didn't say villains, antagonists, and it was like my favorite 4 antagonists in anime manga. It's probably Zareth, Griffith, Seto Kaiba, and Samuel T. Owen. Those are probably my favorites, just because I really like their characters. I thought they were all really enjoyable. Samuel T. Owen probably had I mean, he's the smallest amount, but he definitely has... he's got as much character and fun to him as the other guys do. Yeah, the first movie is really good. My favorite Black Clover opening, definitely 3. I mean, 3's the best one. 3, I think, was the best opening, probably, of at least that I saw of 2018. I mean, that one was just fire. I mean, the animation, there was a lot of cool bits to it. The song was great. And the fact that they were doing that, the versions where it got better, every so often, you got a higher quality version of it. I thought that was fun. Do I like Deku? I enjoy Deku. I don't dislike... I rag him a lot because he gets on my nerves sometimes, but I like him overall. I think he's a fine character. I think a lot of people... The thing about Deku is a lot of people don't like him because he cries a lot. He's very self-insulting. He rags on himself a bunch. He started out very wimpy and weak, but that's a lot of it. I don't think people get. That's the point. A lot of it is supposed to see. You're going to see like early Deku to when Deku finally becomes, that symbol of peace, when he becomes like his own heroic person, and you're gonna be able to look at it and compare it to like young Deku when he was, this sniveling little dude who had cried at almost any sign of difficulty, and then that's definitely the point. I understand that. I mean, obviously, I know what Horikoshi's overall scheme is. A lot of it is the journey of him becoming that guy. I mean, I can still criticize just like Deku gets on my nerves as he is right now. I don't think he's badly written. And the only thing about it, again, that I don't like is the fact that he's got like 7 quirks coming up. I don't like that. Other than that, I think he's fine. I just like, in comparison, the obvious rival series character. I do just still like Asta more. I think Asta's more enjoyable. But that's entirely opinion-based. Obviously, people like... there's a higher level of Deku fans than Asta fans, but just who I like more versus something like... I don't like... I know it's probably an unpopular opinion. I don't like Gon from Hunter x Hunter. I just think he's boring. I don't find his character very interesting. But you have someone like... again, someone like Deku, who... Even though I can say he's bugging me right now, I know overall that he's... he's moving somewhere, and he's being written fairly good down the line. Did you watch Friday Episode 26? What was the animation like? The animation was fine. I actually liked last week's episode. There are a lot of cool parts with Bloodman that looked really good. My throat right there. Yeah, the first movie was really good. What are your thoughts on the movie, or on the massive amount of anti-magic that was released in the last chapter? I'm wondering if it has to do with the fact that Asta kind of got like a higher level of form with his anti-magic form. If maybe that relates to it. I know it's cuter, and because she has money too. Hashtag at JK Network. Yeah, that was good. If you had a choice between fixing Acnologia and Male's character, what would you... I mean, so the thing about Acnologia is Acnologia can be fixed easy, because the only thing that really hurt him as a character is the fact that we didn't get his backstory and kind of see what happened that he became to, this spot. And Hiroshima said he has the backstory written, he just didn't put it in the manga for some reason. Again, I think there was some stuff behind the scenes we don't know about that might be affecting that, and I'm hoping they put it in the anime. So you could have the exact same events happen in the anime. All you have to do is give us Acnologia's backstory, and then they're fixed. But with Male, it was just destroyed. I mean, he had this great build-up, and then just kind of like abrupt ending. I mean, even look at Seven Deadly Sins right now. I don't know why the ending is happening right away. It's so abrupt. Like, it was out of nowhere, and then it's just like, all right, we're done. Let's wrap up. We're good. Definitely didn't like that. Yeah, they messed up that with Deku. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of him having so many powers. Takuya and Koji. Koji is the guy from the beginning. I remember his design. I remember his spirit forms. I just didn't remember his name. Which decision was dumb or messed, having Brain stab August or Star-Lord attacking Thanos done Infinity War? I mean, definitely. So the Thanos one for Star-Lord, I think that was dumber on his part. That's like, you could have all you had to do was get the gauntlet off him, and then you could have proceeded to do what you're doing. You just had to wait 5 seconds. Mest, I think Mest had a good mindset. I think that it was just stupid of him to do. Let's see. Thought Studio Clown was the one who does Black Clover anime. Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. Gray gets worse later on. All the shit he's gone through. He gets depressed. Now he's my favorite character. Gray? I don't think Gray gets worse. What do you mean? I really like Gray. 100 Years Quest produces enough chapters every year for 13 episodes anime every year, so I imagine it'll be seasonal. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's seasonal so we can get good quality animation. Predictions on the next Black Clover chapter? Well, I'm hoping to see Licht again. I'm wondering what Licht is going to have to do in this. That's what was my prediction for chapter 200, but I was off. Asta is my favorite character because he never gives up and gets girls to and wants to eat. Yeah, Asta's a good little dude. I did see your Natsu video. It was an awesome watch and had some interesting takes on the finer moments in Natsu's character. Yeah, I really liked the whole bit I went over where after, Happy almost, how much Happy was beat up over Natsu almost dying, and you kind of compare, like, that moment where he realizes it, and when Natsu looks at Happy and sees like just the emotion on his face, and I do think that he had some impact of Natsu was almost destroyed by losing his pseudo dad, and Happy and like Natsu's always kind of been Happy's pseudo dad, and all he'd be doing is kind of pushing that same pain onto him, which I think he got, and that was a really good moment for him. Zeref is one of my favorite antagonists in anime. I really like Zeref. I think Zeref is very underrated. Again, I want to do a video on him soon and go over Zeref. Which fight was worse? Urza fighting Irene with broken bones or Powered Up King fighting Male? Well, Urza fighting Irene with broken bones wasn't bad because, I mean, it's just broken bones. Characters have fought with broken bones before. I mean, as long as she can keep moving her muscles, it's still going to hurt. It's going to be messed up. And it's not like she was running at her. I mean, she just launched herself in the air and then came down and slashed her, and she could barely stand. King just got a power-up, and then somehow was able to beat Male, which is stupid. I don't like... I don't really like King. I do hope that we get Alexis versus Jalal soon. I've been wanting to see that, too. I've been really hoping that happens. That's been a long-going debate amongst the fandoms. Zeref's curse manifests almost everywhere in his thinking, and really fascinating to see how it pulls across. Yeah, a lot of people just think Zeref is emo, where it's like, no, Zeref's sad... because he's been forced in this position, and a lot of this stuff is, he's been put in this dick spot, but he's also super crazy because his curse affects his mind too, and I don't think a lot of people, like, I've talked to enough people that don't know that at all, and they just think that he's just sad, where it's like, no, he literally can't think straight because the curse affects his thought process as well. We saw that during his talks with Mavis. I'm listening to the first one, Black Clover, opening 3. Yeah, it's really good. I think it's the best one. I like the new one, though. Do you think Natsu would be... Do you think that Natsu would be Dragon King? I mean, he's pretty much Dragon King. He was given the title, but he doesn't want it. I mean, it made sense. Like, he doesn't need it. He wouldn't really have any interest in it. Top 5 status moments in Fairy Tail. Maybe I'll save that for a video. I would have to go over some of them. Definitely one of them is the Wendy when she found out... her guild was all, her guild never existed. That would more for sure be on the list. Just because it's not like your friends died. Like, when you saw, like, Simon sacrifice himself to protect, Urza, it was just like, yeah, your friends never existed. So it's like, they were all fake. All your buddies you made your entire life, they don't exist. Or it's just like, what the fuck? I think that's definitely one of the hardest ones. If not the hardest one. Which Dragon Force moment do you like more between Gadget's Wendy's or Natsu's Tower of Heaven? I like the initial moment the most with Wendy's. So Gadget's has the most emotional impact. I think Natsu's had the coolest payout with that whole big intense fight with Jalal and that badass final punch. Wendy's, I think, had the coolest intro. Just like launching Easel up into the air and then just like seeing Wendy in her Dragon Force. I thought that was sick. Who do you think is the best girl Myrak named in Black Clover? In Black Clover, Mereoleona and My Hero Academia. What's the rabbit chick's name? The dark skinned rabbit chick who's like, she's one of the top heroes right now. Definitely her. Black Asta coming back tomorrow night. Oh yeah, what's tomorrow night's episode? Oh yeah, is it the next round of the tournament? Oh, hopefully that's gonna be pretty nice. I think they're fighting Kirsch. I absolutely hate Mess for what he branch. Yeah, Mess is an idiot. Mess is a dum-dum. He's always been a dum-dum. What girl would you bang from Fairy Tail? I don't know, maybe Kyria. Kyria's a fine piece, but she also a bit crazy. I mean, she's out of the dragon. She's definitely my least liked out of Dragon Eaters, but I think she's definitely one of the, you know, in terms of looks and bad bitches, she's definitely up there. Maybe Minerva. I do like Minerva a lot too. If Black Clover had an anime movie, do you think that it should be canon about demons? I don't know, or a movie would really fit canon. It would have to be maybe like, so if they do a time skip after this arc, maybe like what happened, one of the things that happens during the time skip, make that into a movie. I think that would work just fine. Nozzle's chapter is funny. Yeah, I like Nozzle. Nozzle's cool. I really like his magic. Son Goku Asta, how is that fair? Well, Asta, I mean, how strong was, wait, Son Goku? What do you mean? Do you mean like Kid Goku, or like what do you mean? Are they fighting? Smash or pass Urza and Merliona? Oh, dude, I'd smash both of them. What do you mean? I mean, yeah, Asta can't beat Goku. I mean, he could probably beat like Goku prior to him being. I think prior to his fight with King Piccolo, he can probably beat those ones. Yeah, Elf arc for the movie. I don't know. I think it'd be like in between like time skip arc. Thoughts on Wendy Shelley not trying to push gay ships? I think someone's kind of, no, they're just friends. Stop it, JK Network. That's what I'm talking about. Like, they're just friends. People can be friends without just being, in a sexual relationship. Quit it. I have a question. Do you think Chinese voice acting anime? Do you mind Chinese? So I watched a Chinese anime recently that Demon Cultivation or whatever it's called. The dude Wei Wuxian. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's just hard to get used to because, you know, I got used to Japanese, and like I watched Wakfu, and I actually like the French version a lot more than the English dub for Wakfu, and it just was kind of weird and different, but you know, you get used to it. I feel like if I watched a lot more Chinese anime, I would eventually get used to it as well. It's just different because, you know, you get used to a dialect. I mean, Japanese anime it's definitely weird when you first start watching it, and then, you know, it just becomes normal. It'd probably be the same thing with Chinese. Altair Sacrifice is good. I don't mean Gray gets worse character. I mean his favorite character in the series, but he gets more depressing because how many people around me died. Yeah, he's doing good now. Obviously, yeah, he's had some sadder parts, but he definitely had some rougher days ahead. But he's been getting better. Which rival do I like more, Gadgil, Vegeta, or Grimmjow? In terms of just rival, I think Grimmjow has had a lot cooler rival moments, like that part where he pretty much like sits there and tells Orihime to heal up Ichigo. I thought was great. I think that part is so cool. And then like in terms of a character, I do like Gadgil more than Vegeta because Gadgil he's not around as much, so like him kind of falling behind is like, all right, fine, but like the fact that Vegeta is always around and yet he's always like pretty much Goku's warm-up boy, I'm just like, I get kind of bored with that sometimes, where it's just kind of like annoying the way that he's being treated. Like, he's got a lot of character development, he's got a lot of depth to his character at this point, but it's like, I don't think he gets utilized very well. Especially for someone who's around so much. Like, geez. He's in every arc, and yet he like always is Goku's warm-up guy. Tower of Heaven is amazing, I love Tower of Heaven. Igneo and Future Lucy Death, those were sad too. Natsu's my favorite Dragon Force. Yeah, I like his Dragon Force, so I like the Fire Horns. Tower of Heaven was amazing yet. So only one who had wasted potential than Male was God. Oh, God Serena was pretty wasted. But it's not like he was like, the difference between him and Male shouldn't have lost. I thought that was really dumb, the way that it was kind of set up and portrayed. With God Serena, it was like, he shouldn't have done that. He was an idiot for doing that. Yeah, Moroku. Wait, Moroku. What are you talking about, Mercenary? Waste potential, yeah. I would bang Mirror Brandish. Both pieces. Both hot pieces. Brandish is, sure, pure wife material. I love Brandish. Do you think the Starry Sky 7 arc? I like the Starry Sky arc. It's a good story. They didn't have that many good fights, but I think the overall story was good. Is that Bao's the Karagite? Fuck yeah, it is. There, Barry Drew. If you were dragons, which kind would you? I would always be fire. Fire has been my element of choice as long as I can remember. That's one of the first things that made me like pay attention to Fairy Tail. I saw Natsu and he's this dude with hands engulfed in fire, and I was like, "What is this? I'll go check this out." And then years later, here I am. I mean, I remember first seeing him in like 2008, 2009, I think. Fairy Tail was still pretty young when I got into it. Which dragon? Yeah, which one would it be? When Arcade uses the sex magic. Well, it's not sex magic because he uses kind of like this pleasure magic, because his whole thing is it's the three things that people and like living creatures kind of like live by: hunger, like was it pleasure, hunger, and sleep. But the reason it wasn't the fact that it didn't work on Kana was surprising. Yeah, it doesn't affect virgins. And then poor Warren got like, he's just like immediately pointed out. That's the obvious sign. Poor guy. Favorite shonen protagonist tournament without Ultra Instinct Goku, but he keeps. I didn't like the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. I don't know. I told you I really like Natsu. Natsu's my boy. Gray is such an amazing character. I really like Gray too. So Yu-Gi-Oh does not real huge ass. It's Yu-Gi-Oh badass as hell. Full-Time Magister is a good anime, but it's a Chinese one. I'll check it out. Speaking of gay ships, the My Hero Academia fandom is full of horrible ships. I didn't even know that Chinese made it. Yeah, there's Chinese anime too. There's a Chinese manga that I really like called Ruler of the Land. I need to get caught up with that. It's really good. The main character is pretty much like a martial artist, Johnny Bravo. How much of a gap do you think there between the Erasion 6 and the Spriggan 12? Massive gap. I mean, like, one of them could destroy the Spriggan 12, or destroy the Erasion 6. By the way, who would you smash between Urza and Mereoleona? Probably Urza. And Mereoleona's, I mean, they're both pretty good, but Urza has that. Mereoleona's crazy, but Urza has that come hither look to her. When you just see that smile, and it's just like, you wouldn't be able to control your body at that point. I like Vegeta over Goku, but Gadget's better than Vegeta. Yeah, the thing that hurts Vegeta is he ends up being too much of like a warm-up towel boy, and a lot of the time it just makes him. He's still kind of like, you can't tell whether or not they're trying to be nice to Vegeta or they just want to keep him down all the time. Who's your favorite member of Spriggan 12? Mine is Wall. Definitely Wall. I really like Wall's design a lot. Thoughts on Anna and Acnologia ship? I don't know. I think it's an interesting ship. I mean, it's not a toxic ship, at least. Moroka's the bunny chick. Yeah, I like her character. I think she's got a cool design and a nice personality. Do you like Sekiro, or is it too manly? I'm very much enjoying Sekiro. I'll have you know, I'm currently a very honorable shinobi. I'm getting the minus Sekiro. All right, I've already dedicated my life in that game. I gotta save my lord. I already saved him actually. Now I gotta go get the Mortal Blade. I got really stuck fighting. I think what's his name, Genichiro. That dude is kicking the shit out of me for a while. But I figured him out. I got him. Levy's been looking like a mule lately. Don't you? Hey, I mean, I'm not gonna say yes or no, but that's Gadget's future baby mom. You guys show some respect. Who do you think they're doing? All Spriggan 12 or base Acnologia? Acnologia would still ravage them. Well, because we already know he beat the world once before in Future Rogue's timeline, and the Spriggan 12 should still exist. So we know that he's stronger than all of them. Let's see, what else? I'm almost caught up to the chat, I think. For real, I'm surprised it didn't affect Kana. I mean, Kana, yeah, I'm surprised too. That was the only one I was like, damn. Why does Mishima like torturing Urza? I mean, it's a lot of it has to do with like mental trauma with Urza, because she used to be a slave, and it really kind of like it's one of those things that really kind of bring her down and makes her feel weak and vulnerable. We saw that at the end of the Tartarus arc. Which I think was still pretty impactful for his character. Piccolo's best dad. Piccolo's a cool guy. He's never going to get any love. He's never going to get back to being relevant other than just being there for memes. Do you think Urza likes Kagura sexually after she kisses her? No. Urza is definitely not a lesbian. Urza with 100%. So there's absolutely zero question that she's into Jalal. I mean, have you seen like the Christmas side chapter where they're all just kind of like hanging out and playing games and drinking, and she doesn't care to be naked around any of them, but like she was fine walking home nude. But the second she saw Jalal, she got all flustered, got all embarrassed. She's 100% still hungering for that Jalal dick. Would you be an elf, god, dragon, or dwarves? I'd be a dragon. Dragon's the coolest one. I think that they made the theory that Nineheart was Urza's father before her father was. What the fuck? That's weird as hell. Do you think 3 episodes of Full-Time Magic and you'll get catch into it? Yeah, I'll check it out. Oh, wait, am I caught up? Sweet, I caught up. Fucking finally. Kana, Urza, Kagura are low-key bisexual. Urza's not bisexual. Well, Kagura wasn't bisexual at all. I don't think Kana's bisexual at all. Kana, I think, just likes to tease. Kagura was doing it just because she felt bad. And Urza's not bisexual. I don't believe that at all. The only person in the whole series that she's ever shown any form of romantic interest in at all, or any form of sexual interest in all as well, is Jalal. She's 100% dedicated to getting that Jalal dick eventually. Lucy, when she's drunk, acts bisexual. I think she's just flirty. I don't know why everyone wants to turn everybody bisexual. I want Issei's power from High School DxD. Oh, the stripping power. Yeah. We need an origin story for the devil, for devil slaying magic. Well, I think it's more of a curse. And I've had this argument with people. I think it makes more sense that it's a curse because, I think it's more of a curse because you remember, Bloodman said he was using the curses of the 9 demon gates. And one of them he used, obviously, was devil slaying. And the effects, the way that we know how it works, it definitely kind of like slates up with a curse more than magic. One second, I'm just messaging someone real quick. Alright, yeah, sorry. I got added, so I had to get to somebody. And I'll end up like talking to you guys and then not realizing that I'm typing into the chat that. Oh, good. Yeah, I didn't get way far behind. What shipping fanbase is worse? Naruto's, Ruby's, or My Hero Academia's? Naruto's fanbase shipping isn't that bad. It's definitely between Ruby and My Hero Academia. I think My Hero Academia's is not as bad because I think Ruby's is the worst because the Ruby fanbase wants to alter the story for their shippings to be canon. It's not like, hey, we're doing fun shippings. It's, we want this to happen and we're going to write... Like, I think I've seen some people write petitions like, this is why these characters all need to be gay. And it's like, no, just leave them alone. Characters will end up... The characters that, you know, if they're designed gay, or if they become gay, or bisexual or whatever, it's like, okay. Like, Freed became gay, and it's like, okay, yeah, we saw the signs, makes sense, cool. But if they're like, tomorrow, in the next chapter, if it's like, well, guess what, Elfman is gay, I'd be like, what? How does that... this is stupid, it doesn't make any sense. And that's pretty much what the fucking Ruby fan base is like. I mean, it makes me sad. The Ruby fan base is one of the most toxic. I think they're the only ones that can rival the My Hero Academia fan base right now. Ruby is a Western main anime. It stands for, well, it's off the team that they're on, but each of them are also the same colors, like red, white, blue, yellow. But also the main characters' names Ruby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang. It's in some rough spots recently. Oh wait, hang on. I don't want. I almost got behind again. Would you want anti-magic or fire magic? I mean, is it fire dragon slaying? Well, I guess it depends also on which world I'm in. Do you think Asta's swords are some form of demon sword magic? Yeah, because it's probably Lick's original magic, you know, altered the same way that Patriot of Light magic was turned into that demon light magic. You haven't read the manga, so it's Grandmaster Luke Jedi. It's not that he has I guess it's kind of like organized magic. So Larcade's it focuses on the 3 things that living beings pretty much are all based around pleasure, sleep, and hunger. So he's got like one that'll make you hungry enough that you'll start just eating anything around you, including other people. He's got one that will make you tired. If you fall asleep, you won't wake up. And then one that's like you pretty much experience pleasure until what is pretty much you orgasm, and then your soul. It's not like an actual one, but it's where you're at that point where you climax and your soul will just leave your body. Pretty much, it's like a soul climax. I always wonder if Demario was a lesbian. No, I don't think Demario was. Demario just seemed really close to Brandish. I mean, like Kyoka and Sayla were definitely lesbians. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Who do you think Asta will marry? I think Noelle. I think Noelle is the best choice because I definitely like their whole kind of like comparison of being very much brought under they're very much brought under their whole potential by the way that people saw them instead. I think another wasted... The whole thing about Raventail, I had a discussion with somebody about this not too long ago. Raventail was never... They were never hyped up to be big characters. I think they should have, but the fact that they were thrown out, it's not... I'd say wasted, but not like... Wasted potential, but not like a wasted something that really mattered. Though I do wish that Ivan was at least fucking relevant. I mean, what did he do all these years if his team got beaten that bad? Are there any series you don't want to be spoiled on? I mean, I don't really have anything other than like a lot of stuff right now. I mean, probably Game of Thrones, really. Girls in love and with main characters 20 chapters later, and they fall in love with female just to join the team. And yeah, it's goofy. Really like Lucy's character development. Yeah, Lucy's really. I think she's one of the better female leads. How did you the topic? Oh, it's because you're talking about how like shipping can become a problem. If Asta Deku had to work for the bad guys of their own free will and they fight their friends without mercy or the rest, do you think that they would? Can't disclose the truth either. I don't think they would fight their friends. It just doesn't. It doesn't. I don't think it would make sense to their characters. It's because they didn't eat. Oh, okay, yeah. What do you think we can beat One Punch Man? Wait, who do you think can beat One Punch Man in anime? I mean, One Punch Man, he's hyped up at most from what I know about One Punch Man. Like further from where it's at. Or at least further from where I'm at, is he's like potentially able to destroy the planet. So anybody planet level or above. But also people with hacks powers, because he's just physical. He's just a physical powerhouse. So he doesn't have any powers to deal with like somebody like with a weird hacks power. Because people, fairy tale lesbian scenes. Oh, Kyoken and Sailor were definitely lesbians. 100%. I already read that. I really don't care much about Adam or even Fauna's story. I thought Adam was cool. I liked Adam as a villain. I thought he was interesting. Obviously, he was a bad guy. He was a pretty shitty dude, like as a person. But he was supposed to because he's a villain. You gotta look at the villains from the point of being bad guys and how they influence stuff around them. Thoughts on Asta's sub voice? I like Asta's sub voice. How would each of Fairy Tail's mains fare against God's Serena Bloodman? Well, I think most of them could beat Bloodman. I think the only one maybe Lucy that couldn't. God Serena, Natsu Gray. I think Natsu and Gray and probably Urza could all beat. Natsu and Gray for sure I think could beat God Serena. Urza probably could as well now. What's up though, Sheridan? I want Asta and Noelle to data rate. Oh, it'll probably be after the time skip, maybe. Because they haven't. Because Asta still hasn't given up on Sister Lily and all. Damari's a pedo, a thought, and a lesbian. I don't know about that. I think she's just a dick. Yeah, I already read that one. I don't think she's a lesbian, though. I heard that Arcade does character payoff in the series. I like Arcade. I think he's cool. Yeah, he's interesting. I'll just go with that without spoiling anything for you. Watch Mob Psycho? Not yet. I need to. How many more gears will Luffy develop in the future? I think Luffy will get one more gear. I think he'll get 5th gear. Or maybe, like, final gear or something. Because I think there's going to be 2 more arcs to One Piece. I think there'll be a big war arc. And then the last one will be, like, the Raftel arc where... it'll be Straw Hats versus red-haired pirates, because I don't think they'll have a serious Straw Hats versus red-haired pirates in the final battle. But I don't think it would make sense to skip over that fight when there's the obvious build-up for Luffy to eventually fight Shanks. Hope we get to explore more from this series. Yeah. Do you read Eden Zero? I do read Eden Zero. What's up, Plasma Gun? I don't think I've seen you in the stream before. How's it going? Welcome. If you haven't yet, I really appreciate it. If you wanted to come to more of these streams, subscribe, thumbs up the stream, and come hang out more. We just like to do these nice, fun chats and talk about series and stuff. But I do enjoy Eden Zero. Shiki, low-key stronger, gonna get stronger. Shiki is not stronger than Natsu. The thing also, so Shiki, for one, is not even remotely close to as powerful as Natsu. But he's definitely stronger. He's definitely strong. But the thing was... unless Shiki kind of like shoots that power creep and just like gets way past, like they start blowing up planets in Eden Zero, even if he's like the same level as Natsu, I doubt he's going to be more powerful, because the fact that he's still ether based, Natsu, his fire can just burn that. Because Natsu's fire, the fact it can burn magic in ether that we already know how it works, makes it so it counters ether gear in general. Is Dragon Ball Super coming back, I hear? I mean, there's rumors. I don't think it's been confirmed. Do you think Ichi is bisexual? No. No. Ichi is a ladies' man. There's going to be an I don't think there's going to be an Elbaf arc, Sheridan Kane. I don't think it will. I think it'll be... I don't think there's a point. We already saw Big Mom beat their 2 elders. I mean, really, who's there that's going to really be a contender after Luffy beats Kaido? Like, really, who's going to be much for anything at that point? Got Natsu versus end of series Haru. Natsu would beat Haru. He's more powerful, and the fact that his fire can burn an infinite amount of energy and time, it's like, well, what is Haru going to do? Haru's going to get destroyed. And it's also curse-based as well as magic, so it's not like... it's not going to be the same for him. Meanwhile, Natsu's faster, he's more durable, and he has more experience fighting people with weapons than Haru has fighting people hand-to-hand. I think Sister Lily's going to die for Asta's character. I mean, her dying, I think, would be fine, because... I do think that Sister Lily potentially could die because there's not a lot that could be lost in her death. Like, it's not like if Noelle died. Like, Sister Lily died, it'd be like shit. You know, it would really only be impactful to Asta, where instead of Noelle, where it would be impactful for tons of characters across the board. But that would be good. Do you think Mishima will do crossover Fairy Tail and when he does a crossover with Eden Zero, he has to do a Rave Master Fairy Tail Eden Zero crossover for sure. I need that. Chapter 1 Natsu versus Chapter 1 Shiki. I'd say I don't know. I think they're about the same area. I think the thing that would screw over Shiki versus Asta is, or not Asta, Shiki versus Natsu is the fact that Natsu is even in Chapter 1, he's way more durable than Shiki. Because when you compare it, like, Haru is just all around inexperienced. Natsu was the most starting out because he'd been doing that for years, where Shiki had a grasp on his power from the start, but he didn't have the combat experience. Where I think that would kind of screw him over in a fight with Natsu. Let's see. Yeah, I read that one. I was wondering if Ichiya tried to kiss Robe. I think Ichiya is just very affectionate and friendly. I don't think he's bisexual. I mean, maybe. Just like Wano's Kaido's arc, Elbaf is Shanks' arc. I don't think so. I don't know why they do a Shanks arc now. I feel like Shanks is the logical last opponent for Luffy. I think that'll be like the vast battle. Like, he hit the 2 of them competing at Raftel to see who's going to get One Piece to be the Pirate King. I just feel like that's the logical end bad guy. Oh, not bad guys, end antagonist for One Piece, where it's not like him or whatever his name is, Blackbeard, Akainu. I think Shanks would be the best one because it wouldn't have to be like a battle of good and evil. It's more of like emotional weight for Luffy. That's just what I think, though. I'm paying $3 for Shonen Jump. Is there a limit to how much I can read a day or something? You get 100. I think it's 100 chapters a day. Huge ass. I mean, that's still 100 chapters in a 24-hour span, so it's not like that's a small amount. I don't know why it's 100 chapters, but I guess. I think it has to do with downloading. I'm not really sure. I hope Natsu just joined. Well, Natsu's not gonna have Lisan and Lucy. I mean, he's gonna be a faithful man to his one wife when he eventually marries Lucy at some point. When Eden Zero gets an anime adaptation, it'll probably be a season 1. I hope. I don't want them to be involved with, was it A1? I think A1 does Fairy Tail. I don't want them to be involved in that. Like, give Eden Zero a better animation team. Fuck the guys doing Fairy Tail right now. Makes me really annoyed. It's like it's the same thing with Black Clover, because like Hiroshima and Tabata are both really good artists, and yet their animes look like ass. Like, probably like 80% of the time. But, I don't know. I've seen the King looks like in Fairy Tail, and he looks like gay. So wait, which one? Seen what King looks like in his Fairy... Oh, King in his Fairy King form. Yeah, he looks dumb. Well, he's got like a mullet and a pompadour. He looks ridiculous. Do you think Asta and combined would be stronger than 6 past Naruto? What? Combined? No, I don't think so. I mean, it depends on how far Black Clover goes power-wise. I mean, there's... Obviously, we don't... It could get pretty crazy. Like, Tabata seems to know what he's doing. Let's see. What series do you have more interesting magic abilities? Fairy Tail, Black Clover, or Seven Deadly Sins? I think overall, I think Fairy Tail has the larger scale of powers, and I think he's got more interesting abilities. I think Black Clover has a much more well set out like power system, because it goes way more in the depth of like counters and like, you know, even if like you know, given light magic, if you go against somebody with like mirror magic or reflection abilities at any point, like the way that it is, the natural light, even if they're way more powerful, if it, you know, the amount of surface area that attack hits is all reflective, it's going to bounce back. That's one of the things I think Tabata has definitely done really well. Merlin versus Irene. Irene would maul Merlin. Merlin's a stupid character, and I don't like her. Oh, Merlin. The thing about Merlin is Irene could just cancel out her power, and then cancel out her abilities with was it Deuce Zero, and just undo all her enchantments and stuff, and then just one-shot her. I don't like Merlin. I think she's lame. Let's see. Yeah, I can read that. Do you think will replace the Royal King in the future? I don't know if he's gonna die is the thing. I'm a little bit curious about that. I mean, it would have to be someone else of royal blood, because he's the only Clover person we know of. You think Jalal will get Urza pregnant and run off like Sasuke? No, he wouldn't do that. I mean, when he gets to the point where he's willing to, you know, to forgive himself and be with Urza, he's not going to be running off doing shenanigans like that anymore unless he thinks it's necessary. Season 2 of Fairy Tail looked best and had better animation than 1 and 3 right now. Yeah. I mean, is it really season? I feel like it's like season 9, because I don't know why it's season and then it spans like 4 years from like season 1. But yeah, the current animation. So the current animation is like, it has better specific moments, but like you get a lot like worse moments. Sad face. How does Natsu do against top tiers in Naruto? I mean, his time burning so his Savage Dragonfire, I guess now, where he's got his like Aetherius, what I'm assuming is his Aetherius Dragonfire, it definitely would kill anyone in Naruto. I mean, you have this thing that burns, especially like, because like Naruto, when he's got, wears his like chakra cloak, I mean, literally in the comparison would be like if he's wearing like Flash Wolf for Natsu, he just light it on fire. Have you read Samurai Deeper Manga? It's a fantastic series. I have not. Maybe at some point. No, Ichigo and Naruto versus Asta and Noel. Depends on what versions of them. So obviously, like, they can't take end of series Natsu or end of series Naruto and Ichigo. I love Black Clover's power system. It's one of the best. Yeah, it's really well set up. Definitely keeps consistency. Do you think Gray fucked Juvia off screen after he said her body is his? I don't know. I mean, there hasn't been any indications. The only one we've seen indications was like during Albrecht when we saw like Levi and Gadgel sleeping in the same bed, and obviously now she's pregnant, so they've been clearly boning. As Zeref was in Black Clover, and since he wanted to wipe out humanity, you think he would team up and manipulate the elves like the devil? Well, I mean, I don't think so. Well, Zeref's not like an evil manipulator. He's like, he was very much like, you guys know, like, what, because the other people, the Spriggan 12, they didn't know his exact goal, but they knew essentially they knew exactly what kind of like, Zeref was scheming, and it probably wasn't going to end up well for them, but they were just like, we're going to keep following because we believe you know it's best. I don't think he would lie on them. Thoughts on Digitalis arc as a whole? I think there's going to be a couple more chapters, but I've been enjoying it so far. I like the last arc more, but definitely is fun. Have you seen The Wire or Breaking Bad? I have seen Breaking Bad. I really like Breaking Bad. I think Walter White is one of like the best villains. Do you think there is an angel side of Lix Grimoire before it turned into Fifth Leaf Grimoire became a... No, I think it was... So, the thing, looking at it, is, you know, we know that when he touched it, like, all the black stuff came off. So, if you've read the Black Clover one-shot, the one-shot, it wasn't anti-magic, it was magic stealing. And I think it would be more... I think it would make more sense, given what we saw, that, like, with all this stuff come off, and it just seemed like his swords had slightly different powers at that point. If the original one was maybe like magic stealing, like you're taking magic, and then the demon version is like you're destroying it instead. August and Fairy Tail versus Madara 6 paths. I feel like I think August has a bigger arsenal, and he's got more bigger stuff to do. Madara definitely has more firepower, except for Ars Magia would probably be really big, but obviously he doesn't have the regeneration that Madara has. Did Madara have any like holder-based abilities? Because August could just copy them and become immune to them. Could August soul Black Clover easily? He'll just learn all their well, they're holder magics, but they can. We already know they can get copied and stuff. Well, it's a little bit different than say like it's a little bit different than say holder magic and fairy tale, the way that the grimoires work, because we know people can use magic even without them. It's just kind of like an enhancing component. I mean, even if not, he could still make himself immune to them. You're assuming August can copy ninjutsu. Well, you assume that their abilities are the same, like energy types, because it'd be like if characters went to Bleach, like how are they going to see like Soul Reapers and stuff? But a lot of the energies in series kind of like they're mostly the same, slightly different. But you just assume stuff like magic, chakra, reishi, and everything. You just assume that they're all the same source, because otherwise it'd be like pain. It's like you put pain against somebody. It's like then what is his path that absorbs chakra is going to do if you're putting it somebody that's using magic attacks? You just assume that it'd be the same. So okay, he can absorb magic at that point. Otherwise, what the fuck's he going to do? Yeah, Levy's pregnant as hell. She's going to have twins at some point, Elric. So why don't you like Doflamingo? So the thing I don't like Doflamingo is Doflamingo's character. So he had a really interesting kind of like way about him, as he was this kind of like crazy villain who just wanted to go about being a bad guy and just being sadistic by all means and just having this wild side to him. I didn't really like his backstory because his backstory was like he caused all this shit, bad shit that happened to him, destroyed his family, and then he just blamed everybody else, and then he kind of like lived his life as this fussy man-child who threw a tantrum whenever he didn't get his way. I thought his character was kind of wasted at that point. I didn't like his backstory, and I didn't like how he kind of went out in Dressrosa. I just thought it was a shame to turn his character like that. Yeah, Gadget will bang the shit out of her. Is it a devil or demon inside of the Asta's Grimoire? It's definitely the same species as this new guy, because he noted like he doesn't know what demon he is. And obviously, there's more than one, so he recognizes they're the same species. Asta versus Yami. I mean, Yami would still win it currently, because in the manga they say demon and sometimes devil. I think they just really interchangeable wording it right now. Do you think there will be? Oh, yeah, where was I right now? Do you think there will be different subsets of Noelle's Valkyrie dress? I mean, there'll probably be more. I think it'll be more of different parts to it. Like maybe instead of a lance, she'll get like an axe at some point, or a different type of shield. I think she's going to need to learn how to control it better as it goes. I like the fact she could turn her lance into her water dragon. I thought that was pretty sick. Luffy, 4th gear versus Sage Mode Naruto. Probably Luffy. Well, because Sage Mode, there's obviously the enhanced Sage Mode, but just Sage Mode, I don't think is as powerful as 4th gear Snake Man. Well, to be fair, did Laxus go through tantrums when he was an asshole and fought Natsu? Yeah, he was, but like if Laxus just ended that way, then it'd be like the reason that Laxus is really like that people really like Laxus is he's come a long way since then. I don't think Doflamingo is going to kind of come the same way. And Laxus was more of like he was built up of kind of being in his grandfather's shadow and then developing a power complex where instead of it being his own fault, it was more just kind of like this way that he viewed it, whereas Doflamingo's was more of like he did everything, but he just blamed everybody else, and he never owned up to anything like that, and he just kept making it shittier for him, and yet he just kind of came off as not being as well honed as I figured he'd be. He seemed very immature. He kind of just came off as a man-child, like I said. I just didn't really like he's got a cool design, he's got cool powers. I just didn't like how he was handled in his backstory. Margear versus Licht. We haven't seen a lot about Licht's powers yet, but Margear, because curses, like Licht couldn't do anything against curses when he's magic, fuckery based. How's the Jujutsu Kaisen chapter? I liked it. It was pretty funny. If you haven't read it yet, go check it out. It's pretty hilarious. I heard from my group chat the new demon from Black Clover that was introduced can say stuff and it comes true. Is that true? So yeah, he can. It's been said as like, I think he called it in the official. Let me check what he says in the official translation, because I've seen like reality warping word magic and like soul word magic. So he'll say something and it'll happen. Like he could say heal and his wounds will heal. It doesn't seem like he can change the past or the future. It just seems like in the moment he can manipulate stuff around him with words. Let me see what he says exactly. I'm one chapter off. I gotta get a 196. Let me get the official translation and then tell you really quick. Just the official name he called it. But he's definitely OP as hell. Yeah, he says word soul magic. So yeah, whatever he says pretty much happens, but it's not like he's warping history. It's more of just like he can do anything that he says at the moment. So obviously, like he can say, he said like storm of swords, and then a bunch of blades came out, and they were both magic and real swords, which was pretty cool. Do you think he's a bigger reputation, Zeref or Madara? Well, Zeref had a bigger reputation in Fairy Tail because there was so much. The thing about Madara was obviously a legend, but Zeref had cults based around him. There were so many things that really tied up to Zeref at the point where he showed up, and he was influential across all of history. I think he had much more of an impact through the story overall than Madara had. Do you think Mishima was rushed to finish Fairy Tail? Yeah, so I have theories around it because he's doing more now with Eden Zero. He's doing more with all these different spin-off series and Eden Zero and the Fairy Tail continuation and stuff with the anime and his Twitter, and he's going to cons. And yet Eden Zero has been solid. All the spin-offs have been solid. The 100 Years quest has been solid. I think it had something to do with his editor. I don't think him and his editor got along. I think there was some stuff behind the scenes because there's some stuff he notes with him about like him kept wanting him to cut stuff out of the arc, but Mishima wouldn't let him. I think there was just some stuff there that may have caused some issue. Again, that's a theory. Because she thick, yeah. Do you like Lucy or Ellie? I like Lucy way more. Lucy, I think, is much better. I think Lucy's one of the better female shonen main characters because she's been relevant in all the arcs. She has tons of clear progression. She's very intelligent. She's had a lot of key parts. Like she saved the guild like multiple times. I really like Lucy. I think she's a really good character. Lucy because so you can't say you will die. Yeah, well, we don't know the limit to the demon's magic yet. Plasma gun. He's definitely very powerful. We haven't seen to what extent his soul word magic goes to. We'll probably see it soon as the story progresses. Maybe it'll be different once he gets the full power version back. Lucia or Zeref, which was better villain with a better backstory. Again, I like Zeref more. I think Zeref was a lot better handled. I like Zeref a lot. Again, I'm gonna do a video on Zeref at some point. I think Zeref is very underappreciated. Do you know if Mishima did the design for Ignia? I don't know if which ones he designed, or if he. I know he does like the overall storyboard, and I'm sure Ueda has some level of influence on the story, but I don't know if Mishima does the designs or not. But I definitely really like Ignia so far. I think he's definitely been going up. Before I go to sleep, who is your favorite Obito, Madara, Kakashi? Probably Madara. I thought Madara was really sick. Who do you think is more battle hunger, Acnologia or Madara? Acnologia, like that was his purpose in life. No, who do you think is gonna what do you think is gonna happen to the elves at the end of the arc? I think that them and the humans are gonna put their differences aside and have to kind of like join up, depending on what happens with this demon. Oh, wait, what's going on with Spider? Hang on, let me check my stream really quick. I'm making sure I don't... My friend is saying he can't type in the stream. I'm wondering if somehow I accidentally made it so he can't. As this is going. 1 second. Live chat streaming? I think it's in the live chat streaming. Fucking... Oh my god, what is it? In the settings. I just gotta find it. Well, let me just tell him real quick. I'm just gonna type him real quick. Give me a second. Oh, I'm sorry if my keyboard is super loud. Let me make sure. I think he's listening still. If you're still listening to what's up, Spider Buddy. Top 3 manga and anime. If I had to pick top 3, probably Fairy Tail, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Berserk. I really love those. I love all 3 of those a lot. Would you want to see a Fairy Tail and Black Clover crossover or One Piece of Fairy Tail? I'd rather see a Black Clover Fairy Tail crossover. I think that'd be more fun. Ignia could have a great battle with not super character. But there's a lot to it, so I still need to talk about exactly like the level of potential Ignia holds. Is Mess still part of the guild after this arc? Haven't read. I don't think I've seen him. I have to think back. I can't recall seeing Mess at any point this arc. I don't think there's anything about him leaving the guild though. Do you think Natsu is going to get stronger than Actologia by the end of the Just absolutely, I think he's going to get way stronger. One more question: is Magi? What is your favorite power and what character? So I don't. Again, there's a lot of Magi I forgot. The thing about Magi that I will always remember. Do you remember that person who had the sword magic or something? It was metal magic or something, and they had the, what was it called? The extreme magic, when they had like a super spell, and they had like this layer where they just dropped all these swords in one spot. I thought that was really cool. That's one of the things in Magi that I've always remembered. So probably that one. Yu-Gi-Oh for life. Do I love Yu-Gi-Oh? Mess is going to jail. Maybe. Mess is a weirdo. Thoughts on Mess and Wendy ship? No, absolutely not. At least ship Wendy with like Romeo or something. Maybe Romeo could actually, get something out in life by, marrying the MVP of the whole series, Wendy. Do you think Mishima should bring back Seraph for Actologia? So, there's the reincarnation of Seraph in Alios, but I don't know if he's ever going to be relevant again. I still have a theory about Actologia because he died in a gap between time. Like maybe his, maybe that could do something like time fuckery. Would actually be really cool, like if. So I think I talked about this a little bit in the last stream. Like if suddenly, if Actologia had an influence over time at this point because he died within the gap of time. Like if time stopped, like time just stops, and then Actologia just comes out and just talks to Natsu, and he kind of like tells him stuff. Like maybe he gives him some pointers and tips. Just because like the idea of he's just like you beat me, so I'm not letting I don't want anyone to ever beat you because the fact that you beat me means that you better be top dog, or he's gonna be pretty pissed off. That's just what I'm thinking. Joshua Light, why would you say such cruel things? Oh, he's more of a lolicon master. Bon. Oh, Bon is in an actual relationship with what is her name again? What is Elaine? Do I like Hermit? Hermit's alright. I think Seven Deadly Sins is ending on chapter 3. It's something like that. It's getting rushed pretty hard. Does Language remind you of early Laxus? A little bit. He's kind of a dick. I mean, Langris, though, is more of, like, just disliking his brother, but he's also very jealous of him. Laxus was more of, like, he was always beating up on himself a lot of the time, but whereas Langris was, he just had a lot of issues with his brother, the way he was, but Laxus, it kind of got to him a lot more. Do I like Mest? I like Mest's design. I don't really like Mest as a character. Would you rather smash Charlotte from Black Clover or Angel from Fairy Tail? Oh, dude, fucking Angel. Angel's a piece. Goddamn. Alright, I think it's time to wrap up the stream. It's stream for almost 2 hours. Anybody who hasn't yet, I really appreciate it if you would thumbs up the stream, subscribe to the channel, and check out my other videos. Let me read the last couple comments before this wraps up. If you have any last minute questions, just ask. I know people have a problem with hockey, but without it, nobody can touch Kizaru. So the thing about hockey... So I like the Conqueror's hockey because it's cool, it's just a trash hammer, take out all the weaklings. It's just a pretty cool intimidation power. But with observation hockey, I don't really like, and then the armament hockey, I think is too inconsistent. I don't like I wish that it was more of an aura thing. If anything, I don't like. I think they're working towards that now. I don't like the people having black limbs, because it's like, are you gonna have a end series One Piece, or all these characters gonna be fighting looking like Mr. Popo or some shit? It just looks kind of silly. Yeah, thanks. I hope you have a good day too, Karama. I hope you guys all have a good time. And until the next stream, other than that, I hope you guys again have a good rest of your weekend. Unfortunately, I got to go back to work tomorrow. But only one more week until the next Fairy Tail chapter. New Eden Zero comes out Tuesday. I know there's already some spoiler picks. Seven Deadly Sins spoilers a little bit out. Nothing really to pay much attention to. But if you haven't yet, Gambler's Parade, Shonen Jump, good stuff. I'm also going to cut up on Orient. There's a lot of good stuff coming out. But other than that, again, Remember Black Clover Greatness? Yeah, I love Black Clover. Do you think 100 Years Quest should have been part 1 of Fairy Tail instead of Alvarez? Wait, should have been in part 1 of Fairy Tail instead of Alvarez. Well, no. So part one is everything before the first time skip. Part 2 is everything between Grand Magic Games and Tartarus. Part 3 is Albreath, and part 4 is the current year. Because everything is just like the time skip, and it's just the big gaps is really where I put it. But other than that, again, I hope you guys have a good night, and enjoy the rest of your week until the next stream. Other than that, see you guys until next week. Bye.